Hello guys and welcome back to the Reversal Roundup. As you're probably aware, Capcom Cup happened all last week with the last chance qualifier, the group stage of the tournament, SFL finals, and then of course the top 16. This video is going to be rounding up the group stage and the top 16 down to the grand finals of the Capcom Cup itself, the pinnacle of Street Fighter V, the biggest tournament ever for this game, and we're going to cover it right here, right now. Let's go. Kicking things off for Capcom Cup IX, the first 3 days were a group stage held with 47 players, all from around the world who qualified, scattered into 8 pools. Only 2 competitors from each pool can reach the top 16 in a double elimination bracket, the first seed winner's side and the second in the losers. Group A went pretty much as expected on the first day, but on the second day, magic took place as Belgium's strongest player Takamura defeated Idom in a fierce set 2-1. He went on to win all of his fixtures, resulting in a winner's top 16 qualification with Idom in losers. Group B was one of the most stacked in the entire tournament, with favourites such as Kawano, Just a Kid, Phenom and Four Phils battling it out. It was a sad first day for jury players all around the world as Just a Kid lost to both Phenom and Kawano. Four Phils also got a rough start, losing to Kawano, and as the second day started, the EVO champion also defeated Phenom, securing him a spot in that winner's side. The second spot was up for grabs as the 2 European heroes battled it out. But in the end, the consistency of Phenom proved too much as the Norwegian player took it over Four Phils in a Game 3 scenario. Looking at Group C, the 2 favourites that probably stand out to you, most likely, are Punk and Valmaster. But that's without counting the surprise factor from China, VX Bao. On the first day, he took down Punk. On the second, Valmaster, and proceeds to beat all of his opponents. With the other spot up for grabs, all the competitors in the group were fighting fiercely.
Is this gonna kill? Punk has already stood up!
As Brandon defeated Punk 2-1, Valmaster defeated Brandon 2-0, and it came down to it. If Punk wanted to qualify, he would have had to beat Valmaster 2-0 to take the lead there. But despite taking the first game, the Chun-Li legend Valmaster was too solid and managed to win 2-1 in the end, securing that spot in top 16 losers side. Going into Group D, of course, the main talking point here is Ending Walker. Can he keep his cool under pressure here at Capcom Cup, the biggest stage for Street Fighter V? And he most certainly did, taking all of his fixtures with ease.
Ending Walker, you absolute demon!
The loser side qualifier may have come as a surprise to some, as M. Lizard, the claw player from South Korea, put in an amazing shift and secured his spot. Group E was the embodiment of what chaos can be in a round-robin format. If NL, as the main favourite, should have ran through his pool to qualify, he lost to Mags on the last day. Unfortunately for him, he may have already lost to other players to qualify, but he did not stop here as he also took down Kalmal, the first ever Bulgarian Capcom Cup qualified player. Just as everything was appearing to go perfect for Vegapatch, he lost to Kalmal on the final day 2-1. With all that chaos, NL managed to make it out in the winner's side, but with the last spot, a point average had to be made to decide the winner between Kalmal and Vegapatch. And with a game count of 7-5 over 7-6, just one game in it, Vegapatch is the one to qualify in the loser's side. But this was a grave reminder to the other players how every single game matters. Group F. It may as well have been F for forfeit, as a lot of people were considering this the very hardest group in the tournament. DCQ, Chris CCH, Mr. Crimson and Angry Bird all in the same group. That's tough. Things looked bad for DCQ and Chris CCH as they both lost to Mr. Crimson on the first day. On the second, both Chris CCH and Angry Bird claimed the win over DCQ, fully eliminating him from the tournament. But the Australian player with something to prove, Travis Styles, beat Mr. Crimson, putting him in a dangerous spot and bringing Travis up as a new potential threat to the qualification table. On the last day, both DCQ and Chris CCH extinguished the hopes of qualification for Travis as he lost to both of them 2-0. While Angry Bird took a win and eliminated Chris CCH out of the picture, everything was down to a final game between Angry Bird and Mr. Crimson. But in the end, with that incredible Rashid play, the champion from UAE shut down Mr. Crimson, taking the spot in winners and sending Crimson into the losers side.
This is it. Guesses are coming. He's about to build.
Oh, we got the hit. Angry Bird closes out and will be going to the winner's side.
Group G was another one full of surprises as it featured the champion from the last chance qualifier, the Chinese Bison player Zen. All eyes were on him, but it was not going to be easy as he was up against some real killers such as Big Bird, Momochi and Mono. From the start, Momochi was in trouble as he lost to Big Bird 2-1. On the other hand, Zen started strongly, defeating both Mono and Mortzi. But he didn't stop there as he defeated Big Bird on the second day, while Momochi defeated Mono. Everything was up to decide on the last day.
There's the install, he's got a guess now, and that's going to be the start.
Zen started out strong by defeating Momochi, effectively sending him into top 16 winners side. With that loss, everything should have been done for Momochi to get eliminated, but
one more touch for both of them.
Mono saved him as he defeated Big Bird 2-1, and with a game count of 8-6 against 7-6 with one game ahead, Momochi qualifies over Big Bird. And finally, Group H was the only one to feature 5 players, as unfortunately the South America West champion Dookie was unable to participate in this year's Capcom Cup. The clear-cut 2 favourites, Pugera and Mena RD, ended up facing off on the first day, with Mena taking the win 2-1. After this, they both went on to win their respective matches, putting Mena in the winner's side and Pugera in losers. With the group stage over, it was time to start the top 16 double elimination bracket. The first winners quarterfinal match was an exciting one as Takamura took on the 2017 Capcom Cup champion Mena RD. Despite what seemed at first a back and forth match, Takamura's Ken couldn't keep up the pace against Mena's Luke and fell to him 3-1. The following match was must see as the young British prodigy Ending Walker took on the veteran NL. This set painted the picture of what to expect for the rest of Capcom Cup 9 as it was an intense back and forth war between these two. But in the end, the young Ed player managed to corner NL's Luke, applying some fearsome pressure, not letting him go and ending this set for that sweet victory, putting Ending Walker into the winners semis. Perhaps the most unexpected match of round 1 winners was upon us as the current Evo champ, Topanga League champ and Street Fighter League champion Kawano took on the previously unknown entity, the fearsome Bison player from China who has not lost a set all weekend, Zen. After a strong start from Zen, Kawano quickly adapted and evened the score 1-1. Zen managed to clutch a close game 3, but steamrolled the 4th, sending Kawano straight into losers and moving on to the winner semis. With one Chinese player already in the winners semis, VX Bao was trying to make it too as he was going up against the extremely prepared Angry Bird. Despite not liking the Cody matchup with Ken, Angry Bird started strong, taking a quick 2-0 lead. With a few adaptations, VX Bao managed to take the 3rd game, but without wasting a second thought.
Activation time real soon. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and the CA closes it out.
Angry Bird shut him down, took it 3-1 and sent VX Bao to the loser's side. With a rough start for the final American hope, IDOM, the current defending offline Capcom Cup champion, is no stranger to making crazy losers run in tournaments. Despite eventually winning the Street Fighter League the day before, Pugera did suffer a loss against Shax's Laura in a 1-3 format. Did he do his homework against this character, or is Laura a real problem for him? Pugera had indeed gone away and done his homework, but it wasn't enough to stop IDOM. With one goal in mind, he ran 3-1 through Pugera. Moving on to fight VX Bao, IDOM did keep his rhythm in check as VX Bao's Luke was quickly dispatched to 0. VX Bao made a surprise switch to Urian of all characters and evened the score up, but on a game 5 situation, IDOM managed to come up on top, eliminating VX Bao from the tournament.
IDOM! Doing it for the USA!
In a match featuring 2 characters you wouldn't expect to see in a Capcom Cup top 16, M Lizard's Claw went up against Vega Patch's Fang. This encounter proved to be a long and tense set, with Vegapatch playing patiently and setting the traps, while M-Lizard was trying to make his way through any way he could. Going down to a 5th and final game, Vegapatch made some adjustments to his game plan and went on a more offensive approach, catching M-Lizard by surprise, who could not handle that pressure, crumbling in the corner, didn't know what to do, and that was that.
To close it.
Vegapatch for Spain advances to the next round. The next match was a real test for Vegapatch, as he had to face the current Evo champ, Kawano. With no Colleen to be seen, Kawano was seeing red, picking Luke straight from the start, and this could have been disastrous for Vegapatch. But with the more top tier characters, of course, comes more preparation, as Vegapatch was hanging in there, and they went down to a final game. Vegapatch rapidly took the first round and was a single round away from eliminating Kawano before top 8. And in an outcome that perhaps nobody predicted, Vegapatch was the one to eliminate Kawano from the tournament.
He got it! Viva! Viva Vegapatch!
And puts on an incredible show for Spain, reaching the top 8 of Capcom Cup IX. As the sole remaining representatives of their respective regions, Phenom and Momochi went head to head in a clash of Capcom Cup veterans. In a very even display of skill, we quickly found ourselves at a Game 5 situation. Phenom's Luke pressured Momochi's Cody into a horrible position and took the first round of the final game quickly. The next round was looking very much like Phenom's, but with one last ditch effort,
He did not cancel!
Momochi swung the EX Zonk and we went down to a final round. In the end, it was Momochi who will advance on, eliminating Phenom and get a match against NL in the next stage of the tournament. Seemingly having to run a Luke gauntlet in the loser's side, Momochi seemed to be more prepared for NL's Luke, defeating him in the first 2 games quickly. Moving up to set point, it was looking like Momochi was about to eliminate NL from the tournament. Suddenly, NL turned things around, avoiding elimination, at least for the time being. The previously explosive Luke play started to be a bit more defensive now, really throwing Momochi off the scent, and perhaps surprising the Japanese player. The footsies on display now were immaculate and every round was very close. Suddenly, NL finds a big punish with the CA, putting Momochi in a magic pixel situation and only 22 seconds on the clock. Thanks to a crucial defense, NL won that round thanks to the timer with barely more HP.
NL stays alive!
He then proceeded to make a huge comeback, winning the whole set and eliminating the final Japanese player from the Capcom Cup at 9th place.
They come back and he does it! NL comes all the way back!
In an unfortunate draw for the entire French fighting game community, Valmaster had to fight Mr. Crimson round 1 of losers. With a quick and dominant 2-0 by Mr. Crimson, Valmaster decided to look for his secondary, as Chun-Li was not working out for him here. Recognizing the situation before it even took place, Mr. Crimson whipped out a notebook, preparing himself for what he was about to face, the Manat. And while it was a closer set, the worst opponent for Valmaster took him out of the bracket and out of the running for Capcom Cup 3-0. But as we were about to see again, for all European Street Fighter fans, fate is a cruel mistress, as his next opponent was none other than Takamura. This time, Takamura went with his former main, Akuma, trying to use his myriad of approaches against Dhalsim to his advantage, but it was all for naught as Mr. Crimson quickly dispatched the Belgian player, eliminating him out of the bracket with a swift 3-0.
Red is making Takamura dead. That is 3-0.
It was time for the top 8 to kick off, as Mena RD, the current youngest player to have ever won a Capcom Cup, wanted to defend that title up against Ending Walker, the Ed player that set the Street Fighter world on fire. This would be the only time we would see the signature birdie from Mena RD, as he seemingly flexed on his opponent with his Capcom Cup costume and came with a game plan for Ed. The crowd went wild as Ending Walker won the first game, but Mena did not let that get to him. He kept his head down, focused on his game plan, and it provided him that win 3-1, sending the British prodigy into losers bracket. The other side of winners semis saw Zen take on Angry Bird. The seemingly unstoppable Bison player did not even bat an eyelid up against Angry Bird's Ken, quickly taking the first 2 games. Just as things were looking like they were going to start swaying in Angry Bird's favour, a strange interaction took place. Zen tried to keep himself safe after this block sweep with a cancel into Psycho Crusher, but Angry Bird used the CA to try and get a punish, which unfortunately for him completely whiffed, wasting all of his resources.
I wanted to say, I've never seen it work before. Not the hard knockdown yet. Feel it within your body. The Psycho power has been ingrained. He jumped. You're in so much trouble. Psycho Blast. He's not going to do it.
Despite Angry Bird almost having a full life bar, Zen could smell blood in the water and took full advantage of this costly mistake and secured his spot in the winners final.
Absolutely flawless.
Moving down to losers side, Vega Patch's next opponent was none other than the US Hope, Idom. Unfortunately for the Spanish hero, it was not meant to be, as Idom dispatched him in record time. One of the quickest sets of the tournament, it was a fast 3-0. Moving on to play against Ending Walker, Idom came with a game plan and went with Poison. This soon proved to be fruitless, as Ending Walker dispatched that Poison with ease in a quick 1-0. Idom switching to Laura for the rest of the set was the breaking point, as Ending Walker could not take the pressure or any more games, and despite all rounds being close, this would be the end of the path for the youngest ever qualified Capcom Cup player.
And he gets hit with a bomb charge for the game!
What an outstanding season for Ending Walker, but this will be a 5th place finish at Capcom Cup 9 for him. The other side of losers bracket saw NL take on Mr. Crimson, who did not want his dispatching of his 2 European friends to be for nothing.
Hold up!
It's going to trade that
Hold
by
up!
trade.
Hold up! What trade? What trade? Let him cook!
3 games later, Mr. Crimson achieves his goal and eliminates the South Korean player from the bracket with a 7th place finish. Next, Mr. Crimson had to face not another European, but a player that does have a close affinity with that scene, Angry Bird. If their groups match was anything to go by, this would be a very tough match. Angry Bird immediately picked Rashid, trying to use that mobility and speed to navigate that absolute minefield of both offense and defense that is Dalsim. Crimson was hanging in there, but you could see just how difficult it was, as he was struggling to stay alive against the onslaught of pressure from Angry Bird, especially in that corner. It was looking rough.
Here we go.
In game number 5, going down to the final round, the last scenario was a nail-biter, as Mr. Crimson clutched it out and managed to move forward to losers semi-finals.
And the Light King takes it for Mr. Crimson!
Moving back up to winners, it was top 4 time, as Mena RD took on Zen. From the LCQ all the way up here to winners finals, everything seemed so easy for the Chinese player, but now a real Capcom Cup champion stood in his path. Mena was seemingly sending a message to Zen, as with golden letters on the screen, he took the first round with a perfect. We see how versatile Zen can be, as he fired back, securing the second game. Firing back with the hopes of the entire Caribbean fighting game community on his back, Mena scored another perfect and went on to close it out in game 4.
He's got it. Yes, he does. He's standing up already. It's Mena RD. 3 games to 1.
Defeating the seemingly unstoppable force that is Zen, securing himself a winner's side in the grand finals. That's big money now. They've met on many big stages in the past, including Red Bull Kumite and EVO, but here they are in the losers semi-finals of Capcom Cup. It's Idom versus Mr. Crimson.
Fight.
Idom drew first blood and secured the first game, a 1-0 lead for him. But the former Laura May knows that character very well and ties it up 1 game apiece now, but leaps and bounds ahead of any Laura player you could ever prepare for.
Slides out, don't press bars off the slide, it's not your turn. Oh, is it gonna be enough? I think it is.
Idom is the one to advance on into the losers finals, while Mr. Crimson bows out with a 4th place finish, doing his continent and country proud. The losers final was a match that many wanted to see over the weekend, and we got our wish. Zen drew first blood, but these two were going back and forth. Zen's incredible reactions were certainly being put to the test by the best Laura in the world, but in the end, those reactions are what won him the set, as he blocked that last second overhead from Idom and secured the win to get his run back with Mena RD in the grand finals of Capcom Cup 9. And here we are, the final set of the final Capcom Cup on Street Fighter V, and it was an epic. In a display of zero fear, the always unpredictable Mena exploded out the corner with this CA in the first game, and just when it was looking like it was his time to turn the momentum around, Zen closed it out and secured the first game. And continuing that trend of all or nothing, Mena RD again throws out the CA in the second game and rides that momentum to a match of his own, and we're looking at 1-1 here. Mena continued to play unpredictably all the way through the set, seemingly throwing a spanner in the works to Zen's methodical gameplay machine. In the end, it was looking like a checkmate scenario as Mena forced Zen to activate V-Trigger Raw, go for the Psycho Crusher.
Full screen's gonna be okay. No, never mind. It's Mena RD,
where he would punish and claim himself a second Capcom Cup title, the only person to ever do this in Street Fighter V's history. What a way to close out Capcom Cup 9 with such a historic moment, and what a way to close out the lifespan of Street Fighter V. Mena, we salute you.
What does this moment mean to you?
It's actually, it's just the beginning. I really want this to be a message to the next generation. I already had a chance back in 2017, and thanks to God, I'm here again. But I just want every kid out there, not only in the Dominican Republic, out there, to see that if you really try, if you really do what you like, things can turn out like this. So keep going, never stop.
Capcom Cup 9 delivered on all fronts as we come to the end of an entire week of high-level action. We could have never expected some of the results that we got. We got to see new faces, we got to see legends in action, and we got to see the pinnacle of Street Fighter. Thank you to Capcom and everybody involved for bringing us this amazing event, this amazing season of action, and we really do look forward to the next season of the Capcom Pro Tour, which will of course be on Street Fighter 6 with that huge, astronomical $2 million prize pool. We can't wait to follow that. Wow guys, what a Capcom Cup and what a send-off for Street Fighter V as we move into the launch of SF6 later on this year, of course. Let us know what you thought about this year's edition of the tournament in the comments down below. Did your favourite do well? Did they win? Perhaps did you expect the outcome there? Let us know down below. We always love to hear from you guys, and we'll be seeing you in a separate video for the SFL Finals Roundup later on this week. That's me done. Thanks so much. See you next time.